Extreme Rules is over. Finally. So long. But this is not about my complaining. This is about what you hear me think of this pay-per-view. I'm going to be honest here. I didn't care about the pay-per-view. There were very few matches I even cared about. And they didn't really hype them that well, so it made it even worse. So I had a low expectation. But I'm not going to say that it met those low expectations. This show sucked. There were a lot of decisions made in this show that was just plain bad. But I will say there were a few gems in here, but still the show was bad. It was not great. Now let's get to the kickoff show. 3 things. 1, Drew and Dolph did talk pretty well at the panel, saying what was going to happen at the match. Now mind you, I didn't know where the match was going to be. I don't think anyone knew where the Iron Man match was going to be. So hearing what they said wasn't bad, but I thought it was going to open the show, which it didn't. The first match, Sin Cara versus Sierra Almost. Ugh. Why? Why did they do this match when they already had the match on SmackDown? It's stupid. They didn't need another match. They could have just had one match, but they decided to do 2, and it was dumb. Sierra Almost didn't gain anything. Selena Vega didn't gain anything. And particularly Sin Cara didn't gain anything. And worse, during this match, there was a lot of botchiness between Sin Cara and Sierra Almost. I'm hoping neither one of them hurt themselves because it kind of went a little too far. It was not good. And I gotta say, this kind of happened throughout the night. There was a couple of people who botched really bad. But I'll get to that in a minute. In the end, Sierra Almost wins again. It doesn't matter. Now, this is a match I believe should have been on the kickoff show, and this is Sanity versus New Day. Why? I'm being honest here. You could have switched one of the women's championship title matches for this. Because of how those matches went, you could have switched one of them. And I know that's saying a lot, but I had to say it because it's the truth. This match was pretty damn good. And being a tables match, being a heavy spot thing, if you're like me who likes balance, that you get a couple of spots, you get a bit high flying, you get psychology and ring work, I want that in my matches more than anything else. I don't like huge ground and pound. I don't like a lot of high flying all the time. Almost the majority of them both. It's got to be balanced for me. But I will say for what it was, because it was Extreme Rules, it was done well and I really enjoyed the match. The person I wished it didn't have to eat the pin was Kofi. Why it had to be the veteran? And I'm not saying that he's a veteran over them all. Eric Young is older than he is as a veteran. He's worked longer than him. But the thing is, since he is pretty much a veteran in WWE, I was kind of hoping he didn't have to eat the pin. It either was Xavier or it could have been Biggie Langston. And I really do like Xavier. Up, up, down, down. I gotta say it, I have to, because I do watch it. But it was still a great match. I was alright with it. Now, opening match on the main card, B-Team versus Bray and... I understand why they did it. Because I do believe Bray Wyatt is still not very good shape, and they thought it would be better to strip him of it. In other words, let him drop it to his brother because he was not doing so well because of the car accident. But, it just upsets me to see they had to lose it. And there's a good possibility there's going to be some type of feud between Bray and Matt. I'm hoping not, but I really do see it coming. Because this is the beginning of it. I think they were scheduling it anyway, but after Bray got injured in that car accident, they had to let him drop it early. Because I don't think this was supposed to happen until SummerSlam. That's just me. You guys can tell me below. But I want to say this. The match was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. There wasn't that much interaction between Bray and his brother Bo. And this is something I kind of wished. As much as both teams have been doing pretty good, I wanted to see the ultimate team of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas, the Latundo brothers, versus the Hardy Boys. That is what I would have wanted to see. Bray and Bo versus Jeff and Matt. 2 brother teams up against each other. Now, that would be pretty cool, particularly if you had the Usos involved. If Bray and Bo went over to SmackDown and dealt with the Usos, then you have something interesting. 2 lineage teams. One with IRS and the Rotunda family, one with the Alpha family. That would have been interesting, but it was what it was. Now, let's move on to the interview with Kurt Angle, and I believe it was with Charlie. No, Renee. It was with Renee Young. He said 3 things. I've contacted Brock Lesnar. He did not come. He did not want to do anything. He went to UFC, and I'm giving him this ultimatum. You better come to Raw Monday. Because you got 3 options. 1, come to Raw Monday. 2, negotiate a contract for your title. Or 3, if you don't do either one, I'm stripping you. And the people were cheering for that because, let's be honest, for what happened at the end of the show, this needs to happen now. They need to strip Brock Lesnar of that freaking title because it's been too long. It's been almost 2 years. Nearly 2, like a year and a half, near 2, that we have almost seen a very sporadic WWE champion on Raw. I know it's the Universal title, but you know what I mean. They're supposed to have a champion on Raw, and they're not sponsoring one. So this needs to happen. They need to strip him. That's just my point of view. Now, Bludgeon Brothers. I'm getting this over with right now. Bludgeon Brothers versus Hell No. Before it happened, the Bludgeon Brothers decided to beat the crap out of Hell No. I'm going to be honest here. I wasn't really interested in their match anyway. So when Daniel Bryan came out to do most of the match on his own, it was okay. Then Kane comes out with a cast on his foot. It looks stupid. And in the end, what did we get? The Bludgeon Brothers retained. Which in a sense is a good thing because no one wanted to see Hell No actually get the titles because no one wants to see Daniel Bryan actually as a tag champion. I did say that, and there's still a possibility, this Tuesday, they may get a rematch. And it could be Daniel Bryan with The Miz because now Hell No can't really work together because Kane is injured. But I still believe that they're not really ready for Daniel Bryan to go into the main title scene, particularly up against The Miz. And they're going to give him really crappy storylines, and this is one of them. It just sucks. Now, a match that didn't need to be on the card, that could have been put on the kickoff show, and New Day Insanity could have been put there. And that is Finn Balor versus Constable Corbin. I'm not against either one of them, in fact. I still care about... Look, I still believe Baron Corbin is a good talent. And I do believe if they utilize Finn Balor properly, he could do something. But they haven't utilized either one of them. So I've had almost no interest whatsoever in them. So this match, which wasn't in any type of extreme stipulation, was a regular match that was simply boring. Not because they didn't try, because they both really tried hard. Finn won, but what did he gain? Nothing. He's still exactly as he was before, boring. What did Constable Corbin gain? He's not Kane. So he's not going to get the same type of thing that Kane's going to get. He feels boring. Doesn't mean he is boring, but he feels it. Now, let's move on to the match that made no freaking sense. Asuka versus Mela, who is money. This is one of the matches that could have easily also been put on the kickoff show. Because this was stupid. Was it interesting seeing James Ellsworth in the shark cage? It was alright. Once James got out of that shark cage, well, first he threw Mela a can of spray. To try and spray in... Wait a minute. One thing I want to ask you guys. Did they ever say stipulation for that match? Other than the shark cage? Because all that stuff was still in a ring. The can of spray that was only about this big was still in the ring at one point. The chain was still in the ring at one point. What was all that about? But anyway, once those two went belly up for Mela, and then I'm not going to say it wasn't funny to see James Ellsworth get his ass kicked while hanging from the cage upside down. It was funny. But in the end, Asuka should have won. Asuka should have won, and she did not win, which made this situation completely stupid. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, look, James Ellsworth is with Carmella. She should still retain. No. No. It has been long enough with Carmella that they're supposed to drop the title to Asuka. And then in the next pay-per-view, which is SummerSlam, you could have the rematch then. It would have been better that way because Carmella could do something more with James Ellsworth to make it more interesting. As champ now, she's not going to be as interesting as if she had just... Two things. One, this pissed me off about the match and Asuka losing. Two, I feel sorry for James Ellsworth because once again, and I'm saying this truthfully, what have they done with James Ellsworth? What? They have literally let his ass get handed to him multiple times, like they did in Europe. Think about it. The reason he left is they finished his contract. They were done with him. They released him. But before he got released, the places that he went to in Europe, they let his ass, every single time the show was being aired, got his ass handed to him by every woman on the roster. Look what happened again. He gets his ass handed to him by Asuka. Along with several other guys got their asses handed to him by Asuka. But the point is, I feel sorry for him. They could have been doing something more with him. People really do like Ellsworth. Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's just sad. Now I'm getting rid of this other one. The women's title on Raw. Which, this was the worst match of the night. I'm sorry. Yes, Ronda Rousey didn't make it all right to a certain extent, but this was the worst match of the night. First, you have Alexa Bliss as the heel. Second, you have Nia Jax as the face, which made no freaking sense. Nia Jax should have Alexa Bliss by her side instead of Natalya by her side. And the person that should be going for the title should be either Natalya or Mickie James. And I know one of my commenters said, no, I think it was when I was on the Lex Men's live stream. And I was talking in chat about saying that they should be doing something with Mickie James. And someone said, oh, Mickey's old news. She's the old guard. We need new blood. No. What new blood do you have that's interesting? Do something with someone old to get a newer person over, to give them something more than what they have. Because as it stands, none of the women have any strong recognition. Not Carmella. Well, Asuka is a veteran, so you can't count her. Not Carmella, not Charlotte, not Becky, not Bayley, not Sasha, not Charlotte. All those women should benefit from a much more seasoned veteran to give them some elevation. And they haven't gotten it. They have pushed every new woman into the main title scene. Many of them have won the titles multiple times, and where have they gotten? Nowhere. They've been used up already. They're almost burnt out. Not saying they're burnt out physically, but what do we gain by these women doing anything, particularly with Sasha and Bayley not even being on the freaking show? But in the end, this match sucked. Yes, Ronda Rousey came out, made it interesting. I did enjoy it. That she beat the crap out of, seeing that my Mickie James got her ass handed to him really pissed me off to a certain extent. But she did go after the other women, and Alexa Bliss retains, so there's a possibility once Ronda Rousey comes back, she'll be going after the title again. Do I believe it's the right thing to do? No! You should wait a year for Ronda Rousey to go after the title. But if you are going to go there, this is what you got to do. Now, let's move on to this match. When I saw the Asuka match, it pissed me off. So I thought they better get it right with Shinsuke Nakamura. And honestly, they sort of did, but didn't at the same time. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jeff Hardy for the U.S. title. Shinsuke gets into the ring. Jeff gets into the ring. Before the match starts, Jeff gets a nut shot to the gonads. And in the end, a Kinshasa goes to his face and he wins quick. Now, something told me the reason that happened is because something else has happened to Jeff. next to when he did 24, like a couple of, almost about 2 weeks to 3 weeks ago, they did 24/7 on Jeff Hardy and the Hardys, where he got himself in trouble with another, I think, DWI, got himself in trouble under the influence or something. I don't remember, but he got himself in trouble. He was drinking, and in this situation, I think they might have stripped him of that title because of that. I don't know. I could be wrong. But the way they made him job so fast did not feel right. Now, it does go with Shinsuke Nakamura's persona right now, so it doesn't really seem like it's anything unusual. But I'm going to be honest here. I think they did that because of what Jeff did months ago. And then Randy Orton comes out. I thought he was going to go after Shinsuke, but no. What does he do? He attacks Jeff and he basically shoots him in the gonads with his foot. He's in my face. So I'm going like, what the hell? Even Shinsuke saying, what the fuck? And I'm going, where are they going with this? Is Randy Orton on the side of Shinsuke? Is he against everybody? Well, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to think. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I don't know what to think of this. I don't know if this is badly written or if this is going to be interesting. Because you now have a returning Randy Orton who, if I remember correctly, was a face, just turned heel on Jeff Hardy. And now what does that mean? Jeff Hardy's going to have a feud with Randy Orton instead of having a feud with Shinsuke Nakamura? I don't know. Let's move on to the match that was okay, but then I really didn't want to see it. And that's a steel cage match with Braun Strowman and, look, let's be honest here. This story with Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens sucked. The only reason they did that is because there's been no title. Because of what's going on with Brock Lesnar and him having to come to Raw on Monday. Excuse me. And if he doesn't show up on Raw, he gets stripped. He's got to come to Raw, or he's got to come to Raw, or he has to make a negotiation for a match, maybe at SummerSlam. This is the reason for this feud at all. Because the feud made no sense. So, we get this match. It wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't something I wanted to see. Really, I didn't want to see this match. Mind you, it wasn't too bad. And seeing Braun Strowman get handcuffed by Kevin Owens was kind of cool. Seeing that Braun Strowman breaks the handcuffs, climbs up the cage, grabs by the scruff of his neck at Kevin Owens and threw him to the floor and let him win the match. That was reminiscent of a Mick Foley and a Undertaker a tiny bit to me personally. I'm not saying it was for anyone else. They'll say, no, it isn't. For me personally, it kind of made me think of it. Because you got a monster in a Undertaker versus a crazy person in a Mankind. Where in this case, you got Kevin Owens who's going crazy out of his mind, trying to keep himself from being killed by a Braun Strowman who's unstoppable. So that's what I got from it. But then I'm thinking, what do we gain from it? Nothing. There was no major stipulation other than the steel cage, so this didn't really mean like anything. And that's that. End. Now, one thing I want to say, Sasha and Bayley were not on the show as far as I can see, and that sucked. They should have done something with them. They should have made an appearance. Nothing, unless I missed it, because I missed 30 minutes of the kickoff show, and they were there, fine. If they weren't, and I saw the rest of the show, I didn't see them, it's a big waste. Anyway, let me see if I'm forgetting anything. Bobby Lashley versus the Roman Reigns in a match that was botchy as hell, and I did not give a frackin' frock. I didn't care about this match. But I thought maybe they can put on a good show. Until, oh my gosh, you got a horrible botch with Roman Reigns where he froze Bobby Lashley over way more than he should have. Bobby Lashley was holding on to the ring rope, and you see Roman Reigns throw him really hard, and Bobby couldn't keep a grip onto the ropes, and he landed really hard on his left shoulder. It was bad. And then Bobby was botchy after that. He was not himself. Hopefully he didn't break anything. Neither one of them broke anything. But in the end, Bobby won, which, I gotta say, that was different. Look, I know a lot of people don't like Bobby Lashley because he is such a botch fest. To most times. But still, when he does it right, he can do it right. And it's understandable. Maybe they want to do something different with Brock Lesnar. Maybe they want Bobby to do Brock Lesnar instead of Roman Reigns because Roman lost. So maybe they're going to do that. Or maybe they're just going to keep the feud going on with these two. I don't know. I don't really care about the feud. And to be honest, I don't care about either one of them, even though I like Bobby Lashley and I don't hate Roman Reigns. I don't. I don't blame him for this, even if he is trying to take advantage of this shit. I'm sorry. He's trying to take advantage of this, trying to make money. He's trying to get seen. Anybody's going to do that generally if they want to get ahead in that business. But still, that's where I see it. Now, what do we got here? We got AJ Styles versus Rusev. The second best match of the night for me personally. It was a good match. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I didn't know who was going to win the match. I wasn't sure what would go right or wrong. I didn't know if Rusev should win the title or he shouldn't. I didn't think that they would job out AJ Styles because he's doing such a good job as a champion, but the problem is they don't sponsor him as a champion, which really does kind of piss me off. But in the end, this was a damn good match. And my boy, Aiden English gets nailed in the face by AJ and then messes up Rusev. And I'm kind of hoping they're not going to separate the two because of that one situation. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Rusev. And I'm not sure where they're going to go with AJ Styles yet either. It's kind of hard to say what the hell they're going to do with anything. But this is where we're going. That match was damn good. And now, let me see if I'm forgetting anything. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Final match of the night. And I think I'm going to use basically overtime my ass. Seth versus Dolph. 30-minute Iron Man match. This was the best match of the night. I know a lot of people don't like Dolph. I know the Select Daddy from Off the Ropes. Look, the Select Daddy doesn't like him for his own reasons. I understand. But you can't deny the guy does have great ability. And that's the reason why he got $1.5 million. The guy got paid. And there's a reason. The guy can go. And Seth, he can go. Now, before I get to the rest of the match, which you're probably seeing a little bit of scrolling, I gotta say this. I was very surprised they closed the show with an Iron Man match for the IC Championship. I don't think they've done that in a long time. Not an Iron Man match, but to close the show with the IC title. This shows you how weak Raw is because they don't have a champion. Since they won't present Seth or Dolph as their head guy on Raw, this is what you get. You get this match, which was a damn good match. Drew interfered a couple of times. You got 3 wins for Seth in the very beginning. He cleaned the clock of Dolph. Then you get Drew basically kicking the ass of Seth Rollins. Basically chalking up 3 wins for Seth. Because he won 2 over Dolph. And then Seth got an extra one because Drew beat his ass. Then Drew was ejected and was not allowed to come back. Then you got you got Dolph winning back about 3, and it kept switching back and forth. The first win was about 25 minutes in, and the last win they got was 3 minutes in. There was a lot of variation in between there. It was a damn good match. But here's the thing that got me. When it was all over, it was a tie. So Seth did not win. Dolph did win. And then Angle comes out saying simply, no, we're going to sudden death overtime. I was thinking, this could be interesting. Have an extra 10 or 15 minutes. Make it a 45-minute match. This will really give people something interesting. Oh, I almost forgot. The crowd was counting down at one point like the Royal Rumble. And it was going like 4, 3, 2, 1. Damn. I gotta say that was fun. That crowd, I loved it. For this match, I loved that crowd. That was so cool. But then when they had the sudden death overtime, Drew comes out, interferes, Dolph wins, and we didn't get the sudden death. When it comes down to it, what should have happened, they should have had the extra 15 minutes. Not end it like that. And the main reason I'm saying this is simple. They have no championship title. They have no champion. You need to solidify a new champion, and you need to solidify the belt. If you're not going to bring one of the older titles back, and you're not going to have AJ Styles be the champion on both shows, and then do something, you need to have a champion. The IC title should be the main title until you straighten things out with Brock Lesnar. That's what it should have been for the last year. It's been almost 2 years with Brock Lesnar. And whenever he's been champion, we don't have a title. We have no champion. And the IC title is not considered a championship title. It's a mid-card title. And instead of making it a championship title until you straighten things out with Brock Lesnar, you haven't done it. 0. So I see this as a lost opportunity to solidify Dolph Ziggler as a main title guy. Even if you like him or not, you need him there. Because they've done nothing. Seth, who is red hot right now, could have easily been solidified as the guy compared to Roman Reigns. He's the guy. He's the one that's going after the IC title. The IC title is a workhorse. That should be the guy title. And when it comes to Drew, he may be tagging along, but he can easily shift into one of those positions. Then you got a 3-horse race. And if you got to throw Roman Reigns in, fine, you throw him in. But at least you would show that there's a title that people care about. But this is what I thought. It wasn't a great show, and they made some really dumb decisions. There were a few good spots, particularly this match was the best match of the night, but the ending was dumb. They should have gone an extra 10 minutes or 15 to really solidify that the IC title means more than the Universal title because Brock Lesnar's not there. But you guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.